Hey, what is up, tycoons? What up, traders? Super excited for today's video. Going to look at ticker symbol ALPH. Going to break this one down on the daily chart for you. We're going to go over the chart patterns that we're currently looking at, and we're going to go over the current bullish divergence that we have as well, and how once you can combine certain signals, right, and start to get two or three things lining up together, it's really going to help give you an edge. And that's what you need in trading, okay, is you need an edge. You need something that's going to help you give confidence, right, and have more confidence. And also, instead of buying blindly, you can buy with an edge, right? And you can buy, okay, well, this is my game plan. This is my entry and exit strategy. And if this doesn't work, then I'm fine with that because I went into it knowing what I was going to risk and what I was going to, look for as my reward. Okay, so make sure to smash the like button. If you find anything useful in this video and you learn something new, subscribe to the channel because I'll be putting content out like this, about 5 to 15 videos every single week, breaking down all of the cryptocurrencies that I'm looking at, all of the stocks that I'm looking at, and so on and so forth. Okay. So what we're looking at right now is going to be this descending wedge, right? So we have these two trend lines that we're watching. This is a bullish chart pattern, and you're just going to see the price action zigzag in between here before we get a breakout to the upside. Now we need to be cautious of three levels, okay? The 61.8, the 50%, and the 38.2%. Those are the most common retracement levels where you are going to see a rejection or a bounce and a continuation of the trend, right? So that's using the fib tool over here. What we've done is taken our swing high, connected it to our swing low down here, and nothing is going to move in one direction, right? It's going to, come down, bounce, and then go back down, right? Or it's going to go up, bounce, and then go back up. All right. So we're looking to see if we take these three levels out, right? And we come here, we break out, and we're able to break through these, then we have the potential to come back up here where the pattern began, right? That would be a perfect scenario, right? A perfect world play out of the descending wedge, right? As you would see it come out all the way up to where the pattern began. But these three levels right here are going to be very important in determining whether we're going to get that or whether we're going to get rejected there and continue the trend downwards, right? So we're looking to see, all right, well, we're starting to retrace back up to the upside after this move to the downside. Okay, if we break through those, again, we'll come up here and then we want to make a higher high, right? So we want to make a high and then a higher high, and that's going to establish a new trend, right? Because right now we're in a downtrend. We have a high, lower high, lower high. If we can start making higher highs, then, as I said, we'll be looking for a reversal of that downtrend. Okay. Now, one of the reasons that I'm really paying attention to this is because we have some bullish divergence, right? And so to understand what that is, we'll go ahead and look back in the past a little bit on the chart, and then we'll go back up to where the recent price action is. Okay, so bullish divergence occurs when the relative strength index down here is what we're going to look at now. Okay, the RSI. It occurs when there is a low and a lower low on the token, right? So clearly the token is in a downtrend here and decreasing in price. But what we're seeing is the relative strength index is making a low and a higher low, right? So the relative strength of this token increased as the price fell dramatically, all right? If we take a look, we can look at, if you would have bought that low up to the bounce right there, that was a 75% move based off of that signal. Now, no signal works 100% of the time, but like I said, once you can start to combine them, that's when you get a little bit more confidence in your play, right? So if what I mean by that, if we come over here and look, all right, we have another lower low. All right, so here's our low. Look at this lower low, even much lower, right? So clearly even more of a downtrend, but the relative strength index has the low here, right? And then we have a low all the way up here. So we hold this initial bullish divergence trend line, even though we keep going down, we're holding this initial trend line right here and trading above it, right? So the relative strength is setting up for a pop. And then we get a bull flag after that on top of that, right? And so the bull flag is this little pattern right here. There's a couple ways you can draw a bull flag, but essentially you have your flagpole, and then you have this little absorption period, this consolidation period, and then you look for the breakout of this trend line, and you get a very sharp move to the upside. Well, we combine that with the bullish divergence that we've been building, and we see that that ended up being a very profitable trade If you entered in here right around the lows, it went all the way up. Let's see how much it went all the way to the highs right here. So that was like about 250%. Okay. And if you caught it up to here, that was about 300%. Okay. So not saying that we're bound to get a 300% play, but if we look, right, what are we doing from that initial lower low that we looked at, or from that initial low that we looked at right here? Okay, we've come and we've made a lower low over here, right? And look at the trend line that we bounced on. We bounced off of that bullish divergence trend line, right? So we've bounced on it multiple times already, right? We bounced on it here, we bounced near it over here, and then we just recently bounced on it twice. And that's when we started to get this little bit of a pop. Okay, now we're facing this trend line. If we break through this trend line, I already went through it. We have three levels that we're really going to be looking for. And looking for a rejection just in case things don't work out perfectly and we do get a rejection. We have some very strong resistance levels that we know that the price action is going to be drawn towards because we're using the fibs, right? And the fibs is a mathematical formula which trading is done by about 70% of it is done by algos. So it's good to start using some of the formulas and thinking, with a mathematical side of where some resistance levels and support levels could be. All right. Now we've already gotten a nice little bounce, off of that bullish divergence, right? That ended up going up about 50%. Currently, it's up about 20% from, the initial divergence trend line bounce. But we're looking to see if we can get the whole move, all right, and catch the whole move, which if we come up to the 61.8 on the fibs, right, that's going to be about a 95% move. And if we come all the way up here, that's going to be about a 155% move. Now, again, this is the daily chart, so it's going to take time for that pattern to play out. This won't happen over the next day or the next 2 days. It's going to take a little bit of time to develop. Now, this also works to the downside, right? When it comes to these divergences. If we look here, okay, we can see that we're making a high and a higher high, right? So we have a high here, we have a higher high up here, we have a high here, we have a lower high here. So as the token is going up in price, the relative strength index is getting lower, suggesting that the strength of the token is getting weaker as the price is rising. That's what's known as a bearish divergence. It's an indicator that you may see some bearish activity in the future. Okay. Now, if you want an example of, these being used as valid resistance levels, we can come over here previously into the chart. All right, and let's take a look at the patterns that we had, in the past over here. Okay, so what we had was a bear flag. All right, so the opposite of the bull flag, right? We just looked at a bull flag, and I told you guys there's a couple ways you can draw them, right? So here's your flagpole right here. Here's your channel right here, your absorption period where you're absorbing that sharp move to the downside. You break this trend line here to the bottom, you're going to get a very sharp move to the downside, right? And let's say you're wondering, okay, well, what are some signs that we may try to come back up, consolidate here, and then reverse? For a three-stage reversal, well, take your swing high down to the swing low of that movement, and you can see that we come down, we retrace up here to the 50% level on the fibs, get rejected. Then we retrace back up to the 50% level on the fibs again and get rejected. So, this is what I mean by there's a very valid example right here of, the three retracement levels and why I watch them. Okay. Because we come down, we retrace, we get rejected, and we continue the trend, right? And clearly that was a downtrend started by this bear flag. So, we are currently in a downtrend, right? That doesn't mean we can't reverse it, but we do have to be prepared and be cautious, right? Because the worst thing is if we do get this breakout and you come up here and you don't take any profits or you don't protect your trade or put some type of stop loss and we get the trend continuation, right? You're going to be pretty disappointed. But you don't want to, not be in the play and not be in the thing, because what if we do X out and go ahead and invalidate the retracement levels and start a reversal, potentially coming back up to the highs there where the pattern began. All right, so that was it for the video. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do viewer requests every single week. This was one of them. So if you want to see your ticker, your cryptocurrency charted up and have some technical analysis on it, make sure to comment down below on the ticker you want, and I'll be happy to do it as soon as I can.